Halo the Master Chief Collection is a horrible game. Not really. But I do kind of wish it didn't exist, and I wanted to explain that in this video today. When it comes to Halo the Master Chief Collection, many people give this game a lot of praise. And, you know, a lot of that praise is deserved, because MCC offers a lot of cool things. MCC offers this huge package of Halo content. Some content that was not available in the original games. Like, one thing that comes to mind is for Halo the Master Chief Collection, 343 added Flood Firefight for ODST, and they also added Sentinels and Elites as enemies that you can face in ODST Firefight. You also have custom skulls that you can turn on in custom games for Halo 2. You have custom vehicle skins, weapon skins, new armor for some of the games in Halo the Master Chief Collection. So there's various different things that 343 has added to MCC that you can enjoy that were not present in the original games. And and just aside from new content, it's just this big package of Halo content that you get to play on PC now, higher resolution, higher frame rate than back in the day. There's a lot of great things about Halo the Master Chief Collection, and many of those things are obvious, right? So I'm not trying to dispute that. I'm well aware of all the great things that come with a game like Halo the Master Chief Collection. I get it. But you know, Halo's a pretty versatile game. There's so much content in a Halo game, and because of that, people enjoy Halo for all kinds of different reasons. You have people that enjoy their campaign, people that like making maps, people that like playing fun custom games, people that like playing matchmaking casually, fucking around in BTB or just Social Slayer. You have people that like to play ranked. You got people that like Halo for all different kinds of reasons. So for example, if you're somebody who's really into the Halo campaigns, well, yeah, you might love Halo the Master Chief Collection. Being able to play through the campaigns in higher resolution, at higher frame rate. Not everything is one-to-one between like the MCC campaigns and the original releases. Like, there's some visual differences, but even things like that have improved significantly over the years with MCC. At the launch of MCC, there was a ton of graphical inconsistencies between the MCC games and the original games, but a lot of those graphical issues have since been improved significantly. So yeah, if you're somebody who enjoys playing the Halo campaigns, I can absolutely see why you would prefer playing through those campaigns on MCC. But when it comes to me, you know, I enjoy Halo for all kinds of different reasons. I enjoy the campaigns, I enjoy playing fun custom games and fucking around in Forge. Like, I enjoy all that. But what I enjoy most about Halo is playing ranked matchmaking. Like, that is my thing. I like playing ranked multiplayer, right? I enjoy that a lot more than everything else, but I do enjoy everything, but ranked is the main thing for me. And my favorite game of all time is Halo 3, the original Halo 3 on Xbox 360. And I enjoy that version of Halo 3 considerably more than the MCC version of Halo 3. Now, as somebody who enjoys Halo 3, it's their favorite Halo game, you know, what is my beef with MCC then? Well, let me explain that. When MCC launched, it took a significant amount of players away from Halo 3, because now there was this newer way to play Halo 3. Now, at launch of MCC, Halo 3 in the MCC had a ton of issues. Oh my god, I mean, how many of you remember the audio issues? It was bad, real bad. But although the original Halo 3 on Xbox 360 was far superior than the MCC version of Halo 3, that doesn't mean everybody's just going to play the better version. I mean, that's just not how things work. People naturally flock to what is new, all right? There are some people that rather just play the newer game that's being supported in higher resolution, higher frame rate, right? Like, even though OG Halo 3 is, is better, they're gonna opt to play the newer game, also on newer hardware. So it's not just a thing like, oh, if OG Halo 3 was so good, people just would have played that. No, that's not how that works. So the release of Halo the Master Chief Collection did take players away from OG Halo 3. Now, OG Halo 3 was still playable, but it was much harder to find games, and you couldn't find games in certain playlists, and it was pretty much the one playlist you could consistently find games in was really the Social Slayer playlist. But there's no doubt in my mind that OG Halo 3 would have been a lot more populated. I mean, I don't think it would have been like a super populated game, but there definitely would have been more people on OG Halo 3 if MCC didn't exist. Now, like I mentioned before, I really enjoy playing ranked Halo. That's my thing. And when we compare the ranked Halo 3 experience in MCC to OG Halo 3, well, there's a lot of things that you get with OG Halo 3 ranked that you don't get with MCC. So like right now in MCC, you have less ranked Halo 3 playlists than in OG, which makes sense because MCC is a collection of games, so that makes sense. But still, there was more options in the original game. You also had the Halo 3 1-50 ranking system, which is different than the MCC 1-50 ranking system, and I do prefer OG Halo 3's system. You also had the XP ranks in OG Halo 3, and then the XP rank per playlist. You had better UI in OG, you had pregame lobbies, vetoing, saved films for theater mode, 4-player theater mode, which are both features I would still utilize today. You also had service records in OG Halo 3 that you could view for other players in the pregame lobby. There are stats you can view of other players in MCC, but there's no pregame lobby, so I can't look at other player stats while I'm waiting for the match to start, which is something I did all the time. I just like to do it. You also had file shares in OG Halo 3, and you could view screenshots on players' file shares in the pregame lobby or the postgame lobby. And MCC does have file shares, but you don't have pregame lobbies in MCC, and you also can no longer upload screenshots to your file share in MCC. So, the file share, I enjoyed that more in OG as well. So as you can see, there's a bunch of things that were in OG Halo 3 that are not in MCC. So as somebody who enjoys playing ranked Halo 3, I'm sure you can see why I would enjoy the original Halo 3 more than MCC. And again, just to reiterate why I'm talking about MCC here is because MCC took a lot of players away from OG. All these people playing Halo 3 on MCC right now, if they wanted to play Halo 3, they'd have to play OG, the superior version. And yeah, I would have been happier with that. Now, OG Halo 3 servers got shut down. They got shut down January of 2022, about 7 years after the launch of MCC. But if MCC never existed, I'm not convinced the servers would have been shut down when they were. They probably would have been shut down eventually, but we might have had even more time. But even if the servers did get shut down on that same day, January 13th, 2022, well, at least I would have had 7 additional years playing a more populated Halo 3. Because again, if MCC didn't exist, then it wouldn't have taken players away from OG Halo 3. So I would have had 7 additional years to play a Halo 3 with a healthier population. And, I'm not somebody who just never went back and played OG Halo 3. Like, I went back and played it all the time. Even after MCC, there was times where I would go back and play OG, but eventually, like in its last couple years, I played it less because it was harder to find. I mean, sometimes I couldn't find a game. I was on there. I was trying to play it. Like, I'm not somebody that, some people might say to me, well, you should have been playing it then. I tried. It was just really hard to find games, and since there was only a few people on there, You're matching people around the world, so the connections aren't that great. It would have been a better experience with a healthier population where there was more people playing and I could find games faster and in multiple different playlists. That would have been a better experience. So yeah, not being able to find games and there only being like one playlist I could find a game in at times, like, yeah, that's kind of why I stopped hopping on the game. But if MCC didn't exist and the only way I could play Halo 3 was OG Halo 3, yeah, I definitely would have been playing that even today. I'd still be playing OG Halo 3 today. And another reason I'm not convinced the servers would have gone down for OG Halo 3 when they did is because when 343 put out their blog talking about how they're going to be sunsetting the servers for the legacy Halo titles, you know, they referred to MCC a lot as a reason why they were going to shut these servers down so they could focus, you know, additional time and resources on MCC or something like that. So yeah, they did point to MCC as a reason why they're shutting the servers down for the legacy Halo titles. So if MCC didn't exist, I think it's fair to say maybe the servers wouldn't have gotten shut down when they did. Now, like I mentioned, I don't doubt that eventually the servers would have gone down for Halo 3. And to that you might say, well, if MCC didn't exist, then you'd have no way of playing Halo 3 after the servers went down. At least now you have this other version of Halo 3 you can play. But here's the thing, like, I'd take the at least 7 more years of a more populated Halo 3 over a lifetime of MCC Halo 3. You know, like if MCC didn't exist and all the old Halo games just died off because the servers got shut down, or they died off because they got overrun by cheaters, which I'll touch on in a second, you know, I think I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with the only version of Halo 3 that exists is the God tier version of Halo 3, not this MCC knockoff bullshit that looks like Halo 3, but it's not Halo 3. You know, there was a time before Halo the Master Chief Collection existed where I did want to go back and play OG Halo 2, and I wanted to play Halo 3 again after that started to die off, and you know, and then MCC came along and it didn't really scratch that itch, right? Because when I wanted to play OG Halo 2 again or OG Halo 3 in its prime, like, that's the thing, I wanted to play the original versions of those games, not the garbage, broken piece of shit that was the MCC versions of these games, which again have been significantly improved over the years, but there are still differences between the original versions of these games and the MCC versions, especially when it comes to Halo 3. Now, if you're somebody who was a fan of Halo 1, like you're a big Halo 1 person, if that's your favorite Halo game, I could understand you preferring the MCC version of Halo CE, just because you can play it online and you couldn't do that back in the day with OG. Again, I know there's still differences between, like, maybe there's still some visual and gameplay differences between OG Halo CE and MCC Halo CE, but at least with MCC you can play it online. So I could definitely see like a diehard Halo CE fan saying that they prefer playing Halo CE in the Master Chief Collection as opposed to original CE where you couldn't play it online. Now, I mentioned cheating before, and the reason I mentioned cheating is because there is the possibility that OG Halo 3 would have been infested with cheaters if MCC didn't exist, and the game would have been effectively unplayable because of all the cheating. But here's the thing, you know, Halo, there was cheating in Halo 3, but there was kind of different like phases of it. Like I remember the big one at first was people DDoSing. A lot of people would DDoS on OG Halo 3. And yeah, and that was rampant. There was a lot of that, and it was bad. And then eventually later on, I think maybe around 2014, 2015, or maybe it was 2013, sometime around there, then there was this influx in aimbotters, people flying around the map aimbotting, right? Like that happened, but eventually that died off. The DDoSing and the aimbotters eventually died off. Now, some people could say that that's because MCC came out and the cheaters, they went to MCC, but that doesn't really make sense because MCC launched on Xbox One. It wasn't on PC, and it was much, 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 much harder to cheat on Xbox One than it was on Xbox 360. So it wouldn't make sense that the cheaters would leave OG Halo 3 to go play MCC, a game where they can't cheat in, right? Like that doesn't make any sense. And again, at the time, even after MCC launched, OG Halo 3 was still playable. So they could still cheat on there. It's just many of them moved on, and that's what I think it is. I think they just got bored and moved on like many of the Halo Infinite cheaters did. But also, I would just be willing to take the risk of OG Halo 3 being overrun by cheaters and the game being unplayable. Like I take that risk to play a far superior version of Halo 3. And again, I'm saying this as somebody who mainly enjoys playing ranked matchmaking, which was a much better experience in OG, like I explained, right? Like I'd take that risk, and if it was overrun by cheaters and you couldn't play the game, like, okay, then so be it. The game had a good run, and now that would be the only version of Halo 3 that exists. Just one version of Halo 3, the god tier version that was OG Halo 3. There wouldn't have been any of this MCC bullshit where people think it's like the original game, but it's nothing like the original game. And another point I want to make when it comes to cheating is there's a lot of cheaters on MCC right now. Like, I play, when I'm on MCC, I'm playing ranked Halo 3 matchmaking. Pretty much just doubles, because that's really like the only thing I can find games in. And yeah, there's a ton of fucking cheaters on there. I play tons of people flying around the map aimbotting or wall hacking. And, because of that, because people can wall hack, sometimes people can cheat in more subtle type of ways. But, on OG Halo 3, when somebody was cheating, it was more obvious. If somebody was DDoSing, you'd get, kicked out of the game. That was obvious. If somebody was flying around the map aimbotting, that's obvious. On MCC, people can cheat in more subtle ways because they can utilize the wall hacks. And maybe wall hacks existed on OG Halo 3 as well back in the day, but I just didn't experience a lot of that. Usually when people would cheat, it was either the DDoSing or the aimbotting. But either way, with MCC being on PC, there are more ways to cheat than there was on Xbox 360 Halo 3. And like I mentioned, there's still plenty of cheaters on the game today. So maybe if you're playing social in MCC, maybe you're not running in the cheaters, but I play ranked. There's a lot of fucking cheaters, a lot of them. So it's like, if I'm going to be playing cheaters, I rather play cheaters on the better version of Halo 3 on the Xbox 360. Now, I did mention that the only Halo 3 ranked playlist I can find a game in on MCC is Halo 3 doubles, and that's because ranked is pretty dead on MCC, and at the rank I currently am in these playlists, I just can't find matches. But the doubles playlist, I can get games, even though sometimes it's even hard to get games in that. But one thing in particular that I really think hurts ranked population in MCC is the match composer. I know a lot of people love the match composer. I'm not a fan. I think it spreads the player base way too fucking thin, because there is so many different combinations of things you can play in the match composer. Like there's like, if you add it all up, I don't know, I think I added it all up before. I think it was like a combination of 70 different things in the match composer that you can, that a player can search for. 70 different combinations. It's something like that. I don't know the number. Which you could look at as basically 70 different fucking playlists. That's ridiculous, especially with a game where it doesn't have a lot of people playing it. So I'm not a fan of the match composer. I would much prefer it just be a couple different social playlists and then a couple ranked playlists, and that be it. Now, I know MCC is a collection of games, and so you want to have an option for every game, and that's, the match composer does that. I get it, but I think at this point, you just got to prioritize the popular games in the collection. I mean, I just think that's what it is. Well, I say at this point, but you know, I felt this way for the last several years when it comes to MCC. And another thing is that in the match composer, you do have a Halo 3 doubles option, but you also have Halo 3 doubles in Ranked. So when the Halo 3 default dubs playlist is available in Ranked for Halo 3, it's a rotational playlist, but when that rotates in, at that point, you have two of the same playlists, a social version and a ranked version. Like, get it out of the match composer and force those people to play it in Ranked to populate the playlist. I mean, it's nice to have a social option of doubles and other playlists, possibly, but not when the player base is this fucking dead. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta be doing things, but, you know, MCC is an older game. It doesn't have microtransactions, so 343, they're not making revenue from it that way, so... I mean, I know 343, I wouldn't be surprised if they just stopped supporting MCC altogether and they just didn't care about it anymore. I'm just saying, like, it would be ideal to do these things, but... And the last thing I wanted to mention in regards to why I prefer OG Halo 3 over MCC Halo 3 is because OG Halo 3 was a much more skillful game. It was. This is something I don't think many people talk about or even acknowledge. But Halo 3 in the Master Chief Collection, and this could be said for, you know, this could apply to the other games in MCC as well, but especially Halo 3. It is a much easier game in MCC than it was in OG. Much easier, and I think I'm going to do a whole separate video on this because it really disgusts me playing this version of Halo 3 in MCC that is significantly easier, takes significantly less skill than the original version. Like, again, I'm somebody who likes ranked, playing competitively. You know, I like, you know, a higher skill ceiling. But in MCC, it's like everything's been dumbed the fuck down. Mainly because of things like uncapped frame rate and modern aiming, which gives you much smoother aiming in MCC. It makes aiming and just shooting your weapon so much easier. So much easier in MCC. And that's just two reasons, but there's other things as well. Which again, I'm going to save that for another video. On OG Halo 3, playing on the 30 FPS with the classic aiming, it was a lot harder to hit shots, as well as some other things that I'll touch on in that later video. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Yeah, OG Halo 3 was significantly harder than MCC Halo 3. In MCC Halo 3, there's people that can just jump around and just hit every shot because it's much easier. But on OG, a lot of the time they'd be missing those shots. Sometimes you do hit some insane shots on OG, but when people hit those shots, I know it took a lot more skill. Either that or they just got lucky. But at the end of the day, it was a lot harder to aim on OG, and I prefer that. I definitely do. So anyways, I think we're going to end it there. I know this is a weird video. Maybe a lot of people just don't even give a fuck, but I just wanted to share my thoughts on this. Because everybody looks at MCC as this phenomenal game, and they're so glad, you know, that it exists. Not for me, man. It basically it killed or significantly hurt my favorite game of all time. And again, OG Halo 3 is nothing like MCC Halo 3. I mean, I wouldn't say, okay, it's not nothing. They're significantly different games. Do not tell me they're basically the same game, because you're just an idiot if you think they are. Anyways, that's going to do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.